electricity, and that electricity is fed down to the traction motors that sit on each axle of the locomotive. And it's those traction motors that are actually propelling the engine, hence the term diesel electric. Diesel locomotives have always been made that way, and that is the way they are still made today. Whether it's Norfolk Southern, CSX, or Union Pacific, they're all diesel electrics. The major difference between the locomotives built in 1968 and the ones being made today is that today's modern engines have computer systems in them, as well as produce much more power and are much more fuel efficient. The reason why these locomotives here would go on to replace the steam locomotive was for money. The steam locomotives are much more expensive all around to operate.
That's history right there.
Hey, if I ever found like a little GP38, you think we could repaint it to look like that?
Most steam locomotives of the day were much more powerful than their diesel locomotive counterparts. For example, as I mentioned a moment ago, this locomotive in front of us, built in 1968, only produces 2,000 horsepower. Well, one of our two operating steam locomotives, the Southern Railway 4501, built in 1911, and produces 53,900 pounds of tractive effort, the equivalent of about 2,500 horsepower. It was not until the mid-70s that diesel locomotives would finally be able to produce that 2,500 horsepower.
Wait, no,
about
that's
65
not
years
P3,
later.
that's P5.
If you look up in the cab there, you're going to see our engineer, Dave. He's responsible for operating this locomotive and getting us here and back safely today. So everyone go ahead and give him a wave. A lot of you have probably seen our equipment before, not even realizing it. We are very often involved in music video and film productions. For example, in the past, we've worked with both Johnny Cash and Josh Turner on music videos filmed involving our equipment, and films such as October Sky with Jake Gyllenhaal and Laura Dern, Leatherheads with George Clooney, Waterfall Punch with Robert Pattinson and Reese Witherspoon, and most recently 42 with Chadwick Boseman and Harrison Ford. The last three of those movies I mentioned also being partially filmed on property here. Of course, we're also frequently involved in documentaries and children's shows filming episodes as well. You've probably noticed our train is still sitting on track 1, but we run the locomotive up with track 2. That is so we can do a runaround. What that means is the locomotive is going to go past our train and then we'll switch. So we're then reverse through the switch train.
Go watch it switch and hook up?
Yeah.
Come on, let's go.